Hello and welcome to Japanese from Zero. I'm George Trombley. I am one of the authors of Kanji From Zero. This is the book we are talking about. These videos are, in case you didn't already know, meant to be used in conjunction with this book because there's a lot of workbook stuff in here, and certainly not everything can be covered in the videos that are covered in this huge book. If you'd like to know where to get a copy, because believe it or not, some people don't know where to get a copy, I'm going to do this thing that I've never done before. I'm going to explain it. You can get your copy here on Amazon. Book Depository, Amazon by meaning like Amazon Canada, Amazon Europe, Amazon USA, Amazon Germany. It's on every one of the Amazons. Book Depository, which strangely enough is owned by Amazon, but you can get that into many of the other countries. Unfortunately, apparently not the Middle East, but I do know that Amazon is working on something. I've heard of that. And in the UK, you can still get it on, of course, Amazon UK, but you can also get it through our direct book distributor, Bay Books. All right, today, excuse me, I am wearing a hat because it's a little bit late at night and my hair not looking so good. So today we're going to focus on just the lesson, not looking how handsome my hair normally is. We're going to be doing lesson 6. We're going to be talking about kanji on your very own body. All right, let me get a little drink here. I'm running out of voice because I did sing a lot of karaoke earlier. I sang some Christmas Korean songs for the first time. I just randomly found them on the machine, saw how well I could sing them. It was kind of fun. Turns out I forgot how to sing some of the Christmas songs in English, so therefore singing it in Korean, not so good. All right. All right. First one, this is ear. It means ear. If you look at it, it kind of looks a little bit theoretically like an ear. You can almost imagine how they got ear out of this. And the weird thing about kanji is the longer you learn kanji, the more you know kanji, you start seeing that as an ear. It's not really an ear. It does not look like an ear, but over time it will start to. All right, and this has the kunyomi, Japanese reading of mimi, 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 or ji, ji. That is the Chinese reading or the onyomi. So kunyomi is mimi, onyomi is ji, and it has 6 strokes. Although you'll never be really tested on how many strokes it has. The way typically any kind of test that does Japanese, they won't show anything but one stroke. They'll point to it and say, what number stroke is that? That's very common in the kanji kente test that we talked about earlier, the kanji proficiency test, or the kanji, I don't know what they call it in English. I don't know if it's the kanji proficiency test or not, but it's the kanji kente. All right. Here's some words. This is a good one. I think a lot of us have it. Now, some of you might not even know this word in English. That ringing in the ear that you get sometimes is called tinnitus. Tinnitus. In Japanese, it's mimi nari. Now, this kanji right here is the word for chirp. So birds, for example, they naku. And this is a ringing in your ears. You can say suzu ga naru. The bell rings also. Right? This type of doctor here, it's kind of a good one to know because if you get sick in Japan, like a cold or something like that, this is a good doctor to go to. A jibika, an ear and nose doctor. Actually, the guy that owns the 2 houses next to me is a jibika, and he has been on videos. He played, I don't like to do this, but we did it in the last one, so let's do it now. Mr. Fukamachi is a jibika, and on a show that we used to run called George vs. Chie, he played the father for me of Chie. So not really her father, but here's a little bit of that.
男が彼女の父親に会うときには様々な心配事がある。お父さんは怖い人か、自分を気に入ってもらえるか、どうやってプロポーズの許しを得るか。ジョージさんは頑張ります。ジョージ対知恵のパパ、エモーショナルシアター。
会っていただいてありがとうございました。
用はなんだ。早く言え、ほら。
いや、実は知恵のことなんですけど。
知恵が何をしたんだよ。
いや、あいつは何もしてないんだけど、実は知恵さんをください。結婚させてください。
まだ早いぞ。早すぎるよ。
いや、早くないです。だってもう3ヶ月以上付き合ってるんです。
3ヶ月は短いな。じゃあお前はね、 3ヶ月で知恵の何を知ってるっていうんだ。
いろいろ分かってます。知恵のこと何でも分かります。
そうか。じゃあ知恵の好きな色は何だ。
ピンク。
ピンクか。そうだな。じゃあ知恵の好きな映画は何だ。
バック・ザ・フューチャー。
じゃあこれは分かんないだろう。知恵の好きな音楽は何だ。
レゲエ。
そこまで分かってるのか。じゃあな、知恵がな3歳の時に飼ってた猫が死んですっごい悲しんだんだよ。その時の猫の名前を答えてみろ。
ドンチ君。
よく分かったな。そうか。じゃあ最後の質問だな。これが分かったらな、お前との結婚許してやるよ。いいか。はったりの意味を教えてくれ。
ちょっとそれだけは勘弁して。わからない。
そうか。まあはったりは難しいからな。まあはったりは分からなくてもいいや。まあでもお前はいいやつだ。知恵のこともよく知ってるみたいだから。じゃあしょうがない。結婚許してやろう。
ありがとう。どうぞありがとう。
これからもよろしく。
素晴らしい結末でしたね。ジョージさんは無事にパパに結婚を許してもらいました。さて、ジョージさんと千恵さんは本当に結婚するのでしょうか。それは次回のエモーショナルシアターで。
悲しい一人の夜が続く。
All right, so you've seen what Mr. Fukamachi is. He's a fun guy. Okay, so let's look at this. This is a good one. Ryomimi. Now, this isn't exactly a high-level word. If you know what ryo does, you can say like both feet and both eyes and both anything. Just put it in front of the body part and it works. So I just thought it would be nice to show you here. Ryomimi, both ears. So you can say something like, ryomimi ga itai desu. Both of my ears hurt. Maybe some loud fireworks went off. You should probably go to the jibika. All right. This one, surprisingly, you'll probably hear it in your life because you do get inner ear infections. It's just chujiang, which is literally, we know that naka can mean inside, but it also is inner. It's also center. So sometimes you might hear this called middle ear infection, but we call it in America an inner ear infection, and that's chujiang. This being so we've got inner and ear, and then this is inflammation. It's literally, I believe it's also hono, fire, like flame, but it's also inflammation. So you'll hear a lot of sicknesses ending in N. I can't think of any right now, but a bunch of things have N. If you get Japanese children and your wife is Japanese, you'll hear these things. All right, next kanji. It's your mouth, little square. This makes sense. Now, I think it would make more sense if this kanji meant square, but it means mouth. It's read as kuchi for the Chinese reading, and for the onyomi, the Chinese reading, it is ko or ku. Ko, ku. All right, and 3 strokes. All right. Now, this word is really cool. Jinko means population. Think about it. It's literally people's mouths. People, mouths. Population makes sense. Now, I will warn you, now in the book we talk about it, but there's a very similar looking kanji meaning to enter. So there's and basically it's hard to tell with this font, but the kanji is almost like flipped over for person, and that means enter. And then this exact thing here, if that kanji was there, would be iriguchi, meaning entrance. Iriguchi. So I think I have it. Give me a second. I'd like to show you that because that's actually, I can't remember if it was in here or if it might be the lesson where we learn hairu. I don't think it's in here. Yeah. It's in the lesson later on when we learn hairu, which is not easily found right away. So we'll keep going. All right. Now this next word is really weird. Really weird. And that's why I put it in here. Let's look at it. Jaguchi. So mouth is not just the physical body part, but it's also always about something to do with an opening. Okay. So you'll hear gucci at the end of a lot of words. Like for example, like this is faucet, right? Now you would think, why isn't it, if it's the opening of like a faucet, right? It's the opening of a pipe. It should be something else, but ja means snake. And I don't know the history of that, but I just know that this is normally, this kanji is hebi, it means snake. So literally, it doesn't ever mean the mouth of a snake, it means the faucet. It's kind of interesting there. But there's other words like, for example, denwaguchi. Denwaguchi is the receiver part of the phone, okay, the part that you talk into. You've got, we said earlier, iriguchi, right, the entering hole, right? I think we even have deguchi coming up, which means exit. Yeah, we do. Here's a good one. This one, I really needed a way to use the ku reading, and there's not too many words that use it, but kudoku, kind of a nice word. It's normally like persuade and to coax, and normally my usage of this word, my understanding was it's more like I once had a girl tell me to do this to her, and it wasn't persuade me, it was like, it's like talk sweet things to me, you know, because I was much younger. I think I was like 21 or something like that, and I was a tour guide, and I was at Treasure Island, and there was some cute girls on the tour, and I was talking to them, and she said to me, "Eigo de kudoite kudasai." Eigo de kudoite kudasai, which really means coax me in English or persuade me in English, and I can't think of the exact best way to translate that, but it's like say sweet things to me in English. So I was like, you know, I love you, right? You're so beautiful. I said really cheesy things like, heaven must be lonely tonight. It's lost one of its angels. Or, was your father a thief? Did he steal 2 stars from the heaven and put them in your eyes? I was saying things like that. And of course, they didn't understand. They don't understand any English, so I could have said like, did you make sure to check that your car door was properly closed? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Could have said that. I'm trying to think of another funny thing I could have said, but a little bit late at night. And there it is, deguchi. So I want to point out that this literally looks like iriguchi, completely looks like iriguchi, which is entrance, but it's not. Because this kanji, this particular font, remember, fonts change what they look like, right? So this font looks like iriguchi, but typically there'll be a little line across here. Because the way that iriguchi is written is it goes down like that and then over, right? But there's literally a line here normally, most of the time. All right, or else it really looks like jinko. All right, notice that's never, okay, let's get a little bit more weird. If there was a 1 there, it would be read hitokuchi. Hitokuchi. 1 mouth, that means 1 bite. So you could say to somebody, that would be, I wish I would have had that word in here. You could say like, hitokuchi kudasai, give me 1 bite. 1 bite of your food. Like, oishishou da ne, chotto hitokuchi tabete mo ii desu ka? Is it okay if I eat 1 bite? But this is never read hitokuchi, even though it could be based on the readings. Does that make sense? That's what's tricky about kanji. Because if you look at this and you forgot that it is read jinko, you might think, jinko, that was a weird accent. Jinko. You might think, oh, it's hitokuchi, but if you said hitokuchi, that means 1 bite. And not that bite. It's just eating something bite. Okay? Kamu is to bite, so it might be like hitokami, 1 bite. Like an actual bite. All right? Don't quote me on the hitokami thing. All right, next one. Now, this kanji, probably out of all of the body kanjis, is my favorite because if you look at your hand, is that the right one? Or is it this one? I forget which one it is. Yeah, it's this one. So it kind of looks like it's on your hand. If you really look at it, that means hand. So te, and it's read te or ta. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the ta reading is very rare. I only learned a ta word because it's in this book. It's like tadzuna or something like that for the reins of a horse or something like that. And I saw some other words in the dictionary when I was looking it up, but I've never heard them used this way. So, and then the other reading is shoot. That's the thing. Some of these readings, yeah, the reading's there, but you're not going to see it. And it's really almost not even worth the energy. I mean, imagine that word horse reins. When, unless you have a horse, are you going to use that? So I don't recommend that you waste your energy on something like that. And there are 4 strokes. All right. By the way, when you are writing, pay attention to the order, right? So the order goes this way, then that way, then that way, then down and over, right? The order makes it easier to write for most cases. And if you write fast in kanji, if you're not writing in the proper order, the way that you slur the letter, the way that you make it almost cursive won't be right, and Japanese people won't be able to recognize it sometimes. So that's why the order is very important, stroke order. Okay, most people think, oh, it's probably not important, as long as it looks right. For the most case, that's probably true, but then you have to write a lot slower. All right, so here's some words. Karate. Karate. Now, karate is really a nice word. Now, later on, we're going to learn that this word here means open. So open hand is karate, right? Open hand is karate. Okay? Kara also means sky, sora. We'll learn that, I think, in this first 80 kanji, in the first part of up by lesson 13 or something like that. We'll learn how to say sky, but karate. Now, have you guys heard the word karaoke? We're going to learn this probably when we learn this character, but I'm jumping the gun. Karaoke means open orchestra. Open orchestra. Karaoke. Same concept. It's an orchestra that's open without any singer. And that's how you get karaoke. Okay. Actually came from Japan. All right. Shudo. So shudo means manual. Okay. So manual meaning done by hand. The opposite would be jido, which would be self-moving. This is hand moving. The second kanji here means moving. So ugoku. So te de ugoku. Move with your hand is shudo. Okay. Akshu. This kanji here, you don't have to remember these. These are just kind of like bonus information. That's the kanji for nigiru, which literally means to grasp. Like, for example, nigiri sushi is grasped sushi, like firmly grasped sushi. Because what they do is they take the rice, they ball it up like that, and they slap the kanji on top. That's why it's called nigiri sushi. But akshu means literally to grasp hand. It means handshake. And now, Japanese do say majiku. They'll use majiku, the English word, but tejina is like a card trick or a magic trick, sleight of hand kind of a thing. So tejina, which is, I forgot, this means high class. It can mean high class, and it also can mean product. I'm not sure exactly how they came up with tejina, but I kind of like hand with boxes makes you really kind of remember tejina for magic. All right, and I added, now because hand is such a good kanji, I went ahead and added a whole other, we have 8 words for this one. So this one, tekubi. Now we haven't learned the kanji for kubi yet. Tekubi means wrist, but kubi means neck. Kubi. The neck of your hand, or of your arm, right, of your hand, is your wrist. Tekubi. Tekubi. You would never say te no kubi. It's just tekubi. It's one word. It means the wrist. I like that word. And there will be one more coming up that's kind of interesting. All right, tesuri. Tesuri is like a handrail, something that you grab onto. If you're on the train, you're going to hear it. Tesuri o tsukamatte kudasai. Hold on to the. I wonder if they would say nigitte kudasai. Pretty much they say tsukamatte, grab onto. So or capture, right? So tesuri o tsukamatte kudasai. I feel that's what they say. If they're not saying that, please let me know. I don't think it's nigitte kudasai. You can say. Remember that kanji we learned just a second. Let me get this to you. Remember I said that's nigiru? Because you guys already know a lot of Japanese if you're already learning kanji at this point. I don't assume that it's not Japanese from zero, it's kanji from zero. So hopefully you guys have studied some more Japanese, but te o nigiru means to hold hands. Te o nigiru, grasp hands. And then if you just put those together, akshu means handshake. All right, so tesuri, handrail. Tegami, written with hand and paper. Now, you could see how kanji is really awesome when it makes these jukugo words, because even if the kanji themselves, like for me, that does not look like paper. This kanji doesn't look like paper, even though that looks like hand, and maybe that looks like neck, right? But together, the combination of hand and paper making a letter that you're writing somebody, that feels very natural. That feels very storytellable. That feels very easy to mnemonic in your brain, to make a mnemonic in your brain, all right? And I put just dear to I don't want you to think like it's a letter of the alphabet. It's like dear so-and-so letter. Okay. Tebukuro. Love this one. Tebukuro. Here's another example of a great visualization. It's a handbag. Imagine if we call, hey, it's kind of cold outside. Mom, could you get me my handbags? handbag, you might look at that and think handbag is like a purse, but it's not. A handbag is gloves or mittens. I think that's fun. All right, next kanji. All right, we're gonna have fun with this one. A little bit of fun with this one. So, ashi. This is ashi. Also read as ta. Okay, and also read as soku. We know by now that the ones up top are the Japanese or kun yomi readings, and the one below are the Chinese or on yomi readings. So soku is a way to read it. 7 strokes. I could have just had ashi here to say foot, but I wanted to show you that you can add migi and hidari in front to say right foot, left foot. Okay, migi ashi. Now, remember, tekubi is wrist. Using your advanced understanding of Japanese, I'm going to look over to you guys over here that are watching the live stream, and I'm going to ask you, how do you think you say ankle in Japanese? Without looking it up, no cheating. How do you think you say ankle? A little bit of a delay. We'll wait. No one has said anything for a while. Oops. Oh, I almost gave it away. Maybe they, is anyone feel like the chat broke? There we go. All right. Someone said kubiashi. Wrong. Remember, it was tekubi. First person who got it right, I believe, is Joshua Sueva. It is ashi kubi indeed. Good job. Ashikubi. Right? You can remember that, right? Imagine like learning wrist and ankle. There's no like logic there. You know, Japanese people want to say, my hand neck hurts. Oh, I hurt my foot neck. You can't do that in English though. All right. Moving on. Now, this next word, I have no idea why foot is in it, but it is a super important verb, and I want you to know it. Tariru. Okay? It's an iru-eru verb, so we drop the ru to make its conjugations, right? So, okane ga tarimasu ka? Do you have enough money? Right? Okane ga tarimasen. I don't have enough money. It's pretty sweet, right? All right. Maybe you're at a friend's house eating, and they hand you a plate of food, and they go, tarimasu ka? Is it enough? They could say that to you. Of course, no matter what, you're going to say, hai, jubun desu. Yes, jubun, another way to say it, it's enough, without being a verb though. Jubun is a not adjective. Jubun na something. All right. Oops. Oh. Why can't I? Oh, it's so embarrassing. I thought I had gotten rid of all my typos, but look at this. This is from the last one. Let's come up with another word. We can do ensoku. Ensoku means an excursion. It's typically used for children doing a school trip. They say they're on an ensoku. Because who says they're going to go on an excursion? We don't say that even in English. We say we're going to go on a trip. Okay, but ensoku is written with far and foot. Ensoku. Really good one. Sansoku or nisoku or any number plus soku. Soku means pairs. So for example, you can have 2 pair of shoes, nisoku. You can have kutsushita, pairs of socks. Kutsushita is like we're going on a trip. We need kutsushita o sansoku motte kite kudasai. Please bring 3 pairs of socks. That's what you do, sansoku. So I apologize. You know what? I got excited about this graphic. I just got excited about the graphic. So it's kind of cool. We're gonna talk a little bit about ashi here in just a second, but just look how we got the eyes. It kind of looks like eyes, right? We learned that. We didn't learn that this time. We learned that the last time, or one of the times before, I believe. And then we've got your mouth and your ear, all right? And then your hand. Now I want you to look at this. This graphic's important because of this. Both of these kanji are read as ashi. Ashi and ashi. Now, you could say, or maybe someone will tell you, oh, your pitch accent needs to be ashi, and the other one is ashi. But I'm going to tell you something. No, it doesn't. Pitch accent in Japanese is literally, I'm going to tell you, I don't care what professor tells you pitch accent is important. It is not. If you focus any of your time on pitch accent, you might as well stop learning for 6 months, and because that's how much time you're going to waste. Because here's the thing. I talked about this before. It's a very common thing that we talk about. Nose and flower, right? Hana, hana. I don't know which one is which. They're hana and hana for flower, right? Now, there is pitch accent. Right. I am not saying that Japanese doesn't have pitch accent. What I'm saying is don't focus on it because it doesn't matter, right? And the key example I'm going to give is this. Hana, hana, whatever it is. One is one with the other. So let's say there's pitch accent. They don't say it that way in all of the country. In Kansai area, in the Osaka area, they flip that pitch accent. What are you going to do? You're going to figure out like, oh, well, I'm in Fukuoka right now. I wonder how they do pitch accent. Are you going to adjust to that? You can't adjust to it. And it's a whole layer of hurt that you have to add to your Japanese, because no Japanese person will be able to know what you mean with that pitch accent. They just won't know because they're not aware of it. Does that make sense? Now, in that example of flower and nose, I like to say context will save you. It will always save you. Maybe. No one says to you, oh, what pretty nose. No one says you have a pretty nose. They just don't, right? They wouldn't, unless they were looking right at you and kind of pointing, oh, hana ga kirei desu ne. And like, which is that's a creepy thing to say. You got a pretty nose. I mean, it's a very creepy thing to say, but you would say pretty flowers. And you would never say, oh, there's a little bit of blood on your flower. Unless it was a white flower with blood, I don't know. But you wouldn't do that. It's just contextually not going to happen, right? And even if that was what was happening, they would think you meant the other thing because context is what forms those things. Now, the problem with ashi and ashi, or ashi and ashi, whatever the heck intonation it's supposed to be, for my 30 years of speaking Japanese, for all of the times I've interpreted for Fortune 500 companies, for all the situations where I use Japanese, never been a problem. Except for when you want to say, my foot hurts. Ashi ga itai. That could mean your leg hurts or your foot hurts. Which one is it? You don't know. So you know what Japanese people do? They add on. They don't change the intonation. They don't go, ashi ga itai. And they go, oh, which one was it? Was it your ashi or your ashi? They don't do that. No one ever does that. Please, I know I'm going over top. You guys have probably already agreed with me. Unless in some Japanese book that you read, I've seen Japanese books that have the intonation marks bad. Chinese, yes. You do need to know tones, not in Japanese. Here's what the Japanese people do. When they say their foot hurts, they say, ashi no ura ga itai. The backside of my foot, ashi ura. That's what they say. And this is just your ashi ga itai. Does that make sense? Okay. Just a little bit of pet peeve I want to get out of the way there. Please, in the comments, tell me if you're a teacher. I want to know how many of you heard tone is important. Accent's important, but you can get away with a bad accent and improve it later. I said this before too. You can say, watashi wa joji desu, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. They're going to be okay with it because Japanese sounds are so far apart structurally, like a, I, u, e, or very distinct sounds. Not like Korean where they've got a middle sound in the middle of a and o, and you can hear it either way if you screw it up. Japanese doesn't have that. So you really don't have to worry. You can't be way off, but they're very attuned to a foreigner sound. Do you want to spend time to get your accent better? Absolutely. But does your pitch and tone? No. That'll happen naturally over time. You won't know why you do it. But if you sit there and focus a lot of energy, you're really going to hurt yourself. Whew. Okay. All right. Here we go. Next kanji. I believe this is the final one. This is chikara. Chikara. It means power. Okay? Or strength. Now I want to point out, those of you who aren't studying Kanji from Zero, you might have seen a similar kanji where that's not there. Where that top part's not there. And that means katana, sword. So power without a head is sword. That's kind of a nice mnemonic if you want to remember that. It's katana and this is chikara. And two more readings are Ryoku and Riki, the Chinese readings. I have not learned this yet in Chinese, so I don't know how. Oh no, actually, I think I did. I think it's Li. It's just Li in Chinese. Li. And I don't remember the tone. In Chinese, the tone's important. I don't remember. It's something Li. But Ryoku and Riki, okay, are the Chinese readings. And it's got just 2 strokes, as you can tell. Here's a good word. Bariki. Used for, if you're into cars, this is what they're talking about, is a cars, right? How they're talking about a cars. I mean, no sense in English, I apologize. So they'll say like 100 bariki, 100 horsepower, 200 bariki, 200 horsepower, okay? They don't say horsepower like you think they might. They actually say bariki. Very direct translation. All right. Chikaramochi. Chikaramochi, this is someone that has power. So motsu, the kanji, motsu, the verb means to have, to hold. Mochi is just the noun version of that. Mochi, having. So having power is not, I guess it could mean political power too, chikara mochi, but it also typically means strong, like a muscle man. I don't think I've ever used it. You could say he has power, but I don't think you would say chikara mochi for someone that we're just talking about political power. All right. Genshi ryoku. Genshi ryoku. Genshi ryoku means a nuclear power. The reason why I have atomic in parentheses is because genshi is an atom. It's an atom, and this is power of an atom. Okay, because you might not know this, but the way you get nuclear power is you split an atom. Okay, you separate. I believe you separate the. You split the atom. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you just separate the electrons from the? I don't know. Someone will tell me. Someone will tell me in the comments. Thank you. This isn't science from zero, so we're good. All right, next one. Chikara busoku. Chikara busoku. This means lacking of strength or being inadequate. And the kanji that make it up are power, strength, right? Not enough. Now remember, we had tariru to mean enough. Here it is. So obviously this kanji has something to do with being enough, right? Because it has a verb that does it, and now we have a word. So busoku all by itself means lacking. Chikara busoku is just lacking of power. Okay, lacking of strength. Okay? All right, and what is happening here? We put both those up on the screen. So, boryoku. Boryoku. I can't remember what that kanji is there, but boryoku is a very common word that you'll hear. Violence. You might hear, if you watch some of the old George and Keiko shows, we actually make jokes about, you probably shouldn't joke about this sort of thing, but katenai boryoku. Maybe we made jokes about it. I don't remember anymore. But katenai boryoku means domestic violence. So, literally violence within the home. And then indyoku. Indyoku is great because it's written with pull and power. Pulling power is gravity. Indyoku. All right. That does it for today. Remember, you can get a copy of this book. I think you will enjoy it. We have a lot of additional materials in the book that we don't talk about. And actually the videos actually give you information that isn't in the book. And the book gives you information that's not in the video. So what I'm trying to do is make them a combo set. So recently I've been really looking at the words and making sure I do words that aren't in the book. I do some overlap, but not a lot. There's more words taught in the book. There's workbook components in the book. And there's a whole section called kanji usage, which is, I think, pretty powerful. But you can get them on all the Amazons, Book Depository, and Bay Books, and probably some other places like Barnes & Noble and whatnot. There you go. Thank you for watching Japanese from Zero. I'll see you all on the next lesson. Bye-bye. You said 続いてくれ should be 続けてくれ. 続いて means continuing. 続けて is the active way to continue. You're telling me to actively continue. 続けて. Okay. If you said 続いて, it means, all right, going on. 続いて, but you can't command someone to 続いて. Does that make sense? Who am I talking to? Where did that guy go? Green for live. When learning kanji, how do you recommend to do? Buy my book. That's my recommendation. Literally, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because we're not streaming anymore. This is after the stream. But listen, I spent the beginning of the process of writing this book was in 2014, but a lot of the original material started back more than 10 years ago because we took parts out of the Japanese from Zero books. And the Japanese from Zero books will get the new versions of this in the book. So literally, partially my life work is this first kanji book, right? That's how I think you should learn kanji. And with these videos. I think the videos are very important to have along with these kanji. That's how. There's a lot of other resources, but if you're going to ask me how to learn, why wouldn't it be the way that I made it? So, but you did have you did go a little bit further. You said learning the meaning first, then the vocabulary. No, just learn them kind of in the same day. Learn the meaning and learn the vocabulary in the same day in order to reinforce the way that it's read. Don't learn the readings. Do not memorize the readings. Please don't. If you learn 2 or 3 words that each have that reading, you're good enough. Okay? Unless you're doing some hardcore testing, I want you to put your learning in perspective. I'm just going to come from my angle. I am in a college class learning Chinese. Okay? I got busy and I got behind in my homework. Okay, I have class tomorrow and it's the last day of class and my homework is due for lesson 10, which I have not done yet, and way past due for lesson 9, which I didn't turn in. Okay? I aced my presentation. I aced every test before that with hundreds, and my homework was all in on time except for 8, 9, and 10. Well, 10 will probably be on time because I'll wake up in the morning and I'll work on it. But let's say that I didn't do my homework. It doesn't matter to me because for my goal, I'm not there for a grade. I'm there just to learn Chinese, and I've done that. My Chinese has improved significantly because of that class. You guys, what's your goal? If you're in here just learning Japanese because you like Japanese, don't freak out and learn all the readings. No one's going to quiz you on it, ever. You just need to be able to read it when it comes up. So learning the words is the most important thing that you could do. Okay? I don't know what each of your individual goals are, but from my perspective, I see a lot of people wasting a lot of energy learning crazy things like horse reins. It's just not necessary. And the obvious answer to the kanji thing is learn the kanji and learn words that have the kanji. That's it. Learn the meaning. The meaning is also built into the words that you learn. Does that make sense? Learning vocabulary, obviously the most important thing, how to read those vocabulary, means you know how to read the kanji and you get a grasp of what the meaning is. Because the way that you think about kanji is this. You think, you always think, oh, it's the blah in this word, the thing in this word. Like, let's say you hear a new word. I've given this example, but it's a really good example. I was interpreting at one of the Cirque du Soleil shows here in Las Vegas. And Tokyo Disneyland had come and they were looking, because before they had a Cirque du Soleil show, they were looking at all the Cirque du Soleil shows. And I think it was Zumanity, okay, here in Las Vegas. And Zumanity has this stage that's really tall. And they have this platform that raises up and the performers come out of this raised up platform. And we were down below on that platform. And all of these guys, they're engineers. So they want to build sets and motion moving things like that in Tokyo in I think it was for Tokyo one of the Disneylands, the C one maybe, or I forget which one they have where it went, but anyway, I was interpreting and a word came up that I never heard before. I want you to imagine this. I'm interpreting. I am getting paid as a simultaneous interpreter, right? And my contract makes me the official interpreter for Tokyo Disneyland in Las Vegas at that time. Not anymore. I don't interpret anymore. But then this word comes up. He points to this material and he goes, これは吸音材ですか? これは吸音材ですか? And I never heard that word. I can't get on my phone. It's simultaneous interpreting. That means split second interpreting. I'm normally only a half a sentence behind. And in this case, I just say the sentence right after he says it. And you know what? I did it. I did it without any delay. Not because I'm smart, because I know kanji. And I know a lot of words that use kanji. And context saved me, right? So he's pointing at material, this flubbery, rubbery material. This is the context. And he goes, looks up. これは吸音材ですか? And I thought all the words that use Q On and zai. Zai right away I knew was material. What kind of material is he talking about? I can narrow it down, right? Is it fire retardant? No, because fire is ka or hi or netsu for temperature, right? Hot temperature. So it's none of that, right? I think kanetsuzai. Oh no, kanetsuzai is a fever lowering medicine. Sorry. That zai is for medicine. There's another zai that means medicine. If I heard kanetsuzai, lower fever medicine, literally. Okay, so Q onzai. So I think Q. On. On only has a few kanji that I can think of right away. And the on from ongaku, right, is sound. Sound material. Then your brain will, if you know kanji, your brain will search like a mother. Especially when you're like, I'm an interpreter. Oh, shit. I better get this right. Q. Now, Q is a hard one because you're thinking 9. You're thinking, if you know kanji, you won't get this unless you know a lot of kanji. You're thinking past, Q, right? There's a way to use Q with past. Q. You're thinking fast, like all of a sudden Q. None of those. Instant of a second. Q means to absorb. So absorb sound material. So the guy goes, this exact speed that it went. And I remember because it's a very proud moment for me because I was like, at the end I was like, oh my God, Yukari, you should have seen this thing. I was a freaking God. I was like, これはQ onzai desu ka? Is this, and the time I'm saying is this, my brain's like, is this sound material? Is this sound absorbent material? Yep, it is. Hai, so this. Done. In a fraction, like in 3 seconds. He thinks, oh, he must know that word. He doesn't know. That's what your job is as an interpreter. And that's why I say, be careful when you agree to an interpreting job because you do have to know a lot of words, or at least a lot of kanji. Now, I know a lot of kanji. I don't know how many because I never counted because I think that's a parlor trick to say how many. I know enough to interpret for Fortune 500 companies. But that's what you do. You build this Google in your brain. And I forgot what led me to that topic. But that's what you do. Yeah. Wakazful. I do it in Korean. Matter of fact, I can say sound absorbent material right now in Korean. And I've never said it before. Ready? Because I know those characters in Korean. Ready? Hup. Je. Hupumje. Someone look that shit up. Someone look that up. Hupumje. Someone look it up. Here, I'm gonna type it for you. Someone look it up. I don't have quick access to things right now. Here, this is my guess. For it. Je. Something like that. Someone fact check this. Let me go to. Let's go do this thing. Hupumje. Come on. Okay, I'm going to go to ndic.naver. V. I hope I got the che right. Sometimes that can be wrong. Absorbing material. Hupumje. Yes. Sound insulation and sound absorption materials. Now that's I'm going to say something right now. That ain't rare. I make up Korean words all the time, that quickly, in the middle of a conversation, based on my knowledge of Japanese kanji. Because I now know how Koreans convert. I figured out patterns. I haven't written a book on it, but I figured out patterns. Learning a language is all about the patterns, okay? So, hupumje, right? I can't say it in Japanese now. Q onzai. How do I get Q onzai and hupumje? Because I learned other words that have hoop in it, and I immediately can cross-reference that database. And I know that te, soje is material. And I know that je in Japanese is sozai. So zai becomes je. Is on, but I know that because of the word in Korean for music. Umak. Right? Or palum. Means accent. In Japanese it's hatsu-on. Typically Korean kanji, which by the way, they don't have Korean kanji anymore. That's the funny thing. They don't use kanji in Korea, except very, very sparingly in the newspaper. They use Hangul. So they've erased all of the kanji from the language. But because I know that the words are similar, I know that Almost without fail, every Japanese kanji that ends in a tsu is an ul sound in Korean for some reason. Keisatsu, 경찰, okay? 발음, hatsuon, 발표, 합표. I know that, but 합표 is hatsupyo, but Japanese does that thing where the little tsu happens. So, now I'm going to tell you right now, I've already done it in Chinese. I've already learned enough about Chinese to where I've been making Chinese words randomly. Now, I do run into a barrier with Chinese because Chinese words are sometimes completely different from Japanese words and it doesn't make sense. Like, for example, I wanted to say human and I took ningen and it's ren jiang and I screw tones. I don't remember the tone. Ren jiang. But that's not what it was. They just say ren for human. They just say person. They don't, I think renjian meant something different. So it wasn't ningen, even though it's that exact same characters that they use. But I was in class, and let's go back to that word happyo. Happyo. Now I learned that hatsu character in Chinese is fa. And I learned that hyo or pyo, which in Korean is also pyo, okay, is biao in Chinese. So fa biao, or fa biao. Fa biao means to make a speech representation. And I learned it. I was just in class and it hit me. I was like, oh yeah. Once I learned that character, I could make the word. Accent, fa yin. Now, in Japanese, that's hatsuon, same characters. In Korean, it's parum. It's all the same characters. So, when I recommend to you guys to learn Korean and Chinese, I come it from knowing how freaking awesome that is. Okay? I'm glad I was able to do one live for you. It's kind of rare to have that happen. Thank you for saying you're going to buy my Japanese books. I want you to know that I'm not some hack that writes Japanese books. I'm totally into this language. The amount of learning that I've done in Korean and Chinese is nowhere near the amount of learning I've done in Japanese. Okay? So I don't typically, I guess I'm getting better at promoting, self-promotion, but I'm pretty good at what I do. I'll say this, I speak Korean better than most of you guys speak Japanese here. And I'm pretty sure I speak Chinese better than a lot of you guys speak Japanese here. Not everyone. I'm not bragging, but I'm really good at putting those patterns together. Hubumche. All right, I'm going to stop bragging. I'm done. Thank you. Google says hubumche. Yeah, I could have spelled it wrong. Yeah, that J, the problem with that J is there's two A's, and that's what I was talking about. But let me see what, okay, all right. It's pronounced that way, though. It's just the spelling I got wrong. Damn it. Ruin it for me. Let's see. No, not here. No, Google might be wrong. Let me go ahead and post this link to you. I don't know which one's wrong, but I'm pretty sure this one is the right one. The one that I made. Here, look. Actually, let me show it up on this screen. Sometimes they'll even have here, look. Hupumje, absorbing material. Here you go. Hupumje, same J, not the other one. Sound insulation and sound absorption materials. Now, if we click here and click on Ilbono, it'll go to Japanese. And, ooh. Oh, that is very interesting. Now, that's interesting. For some reason, in the Japanese dictionary, it requires this. Kyonzai. There it is, kyonzai. Why does it do that? I don't understand. Let's look and see if that comes up in Korean too. Maybe they keep the wrong spelling in there too, because it's a very common mistake. Che here. I'm gonna go with this. Looks more correct to me. Here, let's look up cherio. If that comes up, then yeah, I was wrong. Oh no, there it is. Look, hubum cherio. So cherio means materials. The sound of zero, materials. So yeah, okay, it's the other one. For those of you that are studying Korean, still hubumje. Don't take away my victory, please. Please don't take away my victory. Please, I need it. I need it, guys. I need victories. Every day. Every day victory. Okay, where is we? Where'd you guys go? I'm sorry, you should never say where is we, for the record. Oh my gosh, Majid. I can't read all that Japanese right now, Majid. First of all, okay, look, Majid, your problem is you literally have 0 spaces and a string of hiragana. I cannot read that. No Japanese person would be able to easily read that. That's like a run-on sentence. Kanji in a sentence helps you break up the words. You have no blah, 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 blah. That's what it looks like. So let's not do that. How do I study Korean? By using it every day. I have Korean friends that I talk to. From day one, I've always found people to talk to. And I went to classes. I took classes in Korea. I flew to Korea not knowing anything. Didn't know where a school was. Found a school. Started going there. My first teacher spoke Japanese because I felt that was a better transition because I heard they were similar. We didn't use any English for the first 2 months. And then actually the next time I went back to Korea, I've never learned Korean in English. Because after I came back and the next classes after that were all in Korean, immersion classes. And I'm a big fan of that. I had a lot of fun doing that. Granted, I had already studied a lot on my own, so I didn't need I don't think immersion from day one's that effective, but after you've done it for a while, immersion is absolutely what you need. Oh, Martin. You're not even getting my name right, even though you're saying you like a certain part of my body. My name is not Joji. It's Joji with a line after the Jo. Get my name right. Okay, Green for Live. If I were to learn another language, what would it be? I've already decided Russian is next and then Vietnamese. I want to sound like this. Vietnamese is like really high-pitched sounding whiny to me, but I think it's going to be great once I learn it. But Russian, I want to learn a language that is masculine. Because every one of my Asian languages, probably sound like a girl. I want to sound really rough. You know, because you can make a face for Russian, you know? That was a bad accent. That's a very bad accent. But I can make a face for Russian. That's what I want. Oh gosh, I learned Cyrillic a while back, but I need to really review. It's been over 2 years, I think, since I learned it. You wrote, I forgot what that is. Oh wow, yeah, wow, I hate that I don't remember any of that. Wait a minute, George, can you talk about when you decided to quit at just a buck? Cody, what video are you watching where you know about me working at Just a Buck? Or did you work at Just a Buck with me and somehow remember me? I want to know that before I answer that. Where do you know about Just a Buck? I did, in fact, used to work at a dollar shop called Just a Buck. I don't think I've talked about it more than maybe once on a show. I'm not seeing any response from you. Just a Buck. All right, well, I'll tell you. Yo, you remember hearing that? Okay. Oh, you remember hearing it too? I used to work at Just a Buck. That was my first job when I came back from Japan. I was doing import-export in Japan. Basically importing from America. Exporting from America, importing into Japan. And the companies that I was selling to, the one company that I latched onto went out of business, and I had no luck. I had to come back to America, and I moved into my dad's house. And then I didn't have a car, so I had to get a place nearby to work at. And right next to the Smith's supermarket, there was a Just a Buck that had opened up. So I joined there, and I was stocking things at the register. I remember every day I would eat at the Roberto's Mexican place next door. No car, and then I'd ride my bicycle home. I had nothing going on for me. And the joke was always, do you make $1 an hour? No. I think it was like, gosh, this was like a long time ago, maybe $4 or $5 an hour. And then I thought, man, I'm fluent in Japanese. I'm really not using my Japanese. So I should look for a job where I could learn Japanese. And I don't remember the sequence of events, but back then you used to, keep in mind, there was no internet. when did I come back? Came back when I was almost 21. So 25 years ago, I came back to America. No internet. I don't know if you can even fathom that. There was no internet. And no cell phones. And of course, no internet means no cell phones. It means no YouTube, no iTunes, nothing like that. Literally. I hadn't even ever used a mouse on a computer. I'd only typed on computers. And it wasn't over a network either. Even though my father was working with networks because he was in the military, but the screens were still black with 80 characters across in green. There wasn't even barely colors on the computer. Okay. And I had done programming in high school using a program called Logo, and I won 2 computer contests. One, I won in my category for, the category was music and graphics. And then the second time I won my category, and I won the entire contest, and I won $100. And that was for all the Department of Defense schools in Japan. So I was like balling. I don't even know if is that a word? I don't know. I was doing really awesome. But where was I going? When I came back to the States, I had nothing. I was just working at Just a Buck. So I had to look at a classified newspaper ad. You guys remember this guy? Who remembers this guy? Who remembers this guy? From my 1-bedroom apartment, I was able to generate over $8,000 a month, placing tiny classified ads throughout all of the local newspapers in the country. If you purchase my system, you also will have access to over 3,000 newspapers, and you too, Don Lepre. You know that guy? Don Lepre killed himself, but I was very motivated by Don Lepre. I was very motivated by Don Lepre, so much that I bought his kit, I think twice, not to do the kit because I really loved Don Lepre. Because think about it, there was no internet. And there was no like stream a video when you want to stream a video. So when at late night, when there was nothing on, I was watching these commercials, and I got so motivated by his making money that it fired me up when I was younger. Okay. This was already when I became a tour guide. So anyway, I looked at the classifieds, and then I went to interview, and they said it was going to be $8 an hour. And I was like, holy, that's like double or something like that, I think. And they said, you can earn some kozukai. It was a Japanese company. They said kozukai. Kozukai means allowance money. I was like, oh, okay, if I sold tours. So I started that job, and man, could I sell tours. I was good at it. I failed, by the way, my first test. I went through training for about a week, and then, believe it or not, I failed because I wasn't talking enough. And I was shy, and my voice was too small. And then I just started emulating this other guy that was training me. I just copied his style outright, and finally I got in, and then I was a tour guide. But man, I could sell. What is that? Okay, that's kind of, yeah, I could sell. So eventually, after a few years, I was making like $7,000 a month. I remember it was like so crazy. This was back in the day. Keep in mind, there was no internet, so Japanese people couldn't just book their stuff online. They didn't even know half of what was available when they got here. And then when they got here, I'd have 50 of them on the bus. I had a whole routine. I was making jokes. I was doing a live stream, right? But talking to everybody, interacting. And where are you from? And eventually, I'll tell this part later. But no, I'll tell it now. Eventually, I got this little HP 200LX computer from one of my interpreting customers, and it was a database. It was like running MS-DOS 5.0. It was like just an LCD screen thing. Before anyone had PDAs, no one had them. This thing was like $1,000, and I got it because I interpreted for that company. They gave me one. The guy really liked me. He was really cool with me, and it had a database of all the Japanese cities. And it had population and stuff like that. And I had room to write notes. So what I would do is I would ask the Japanese people on the bus, I was like, where are you from? Okay, can you tell me when you go out of the main station, out of the main exit, what is there? And I'd start writing that stuff, right? And then I would say, where are you from? And then I kind of like slyly look at it to new people that didn't know I had that. And I go, oh yeah, when you go out of the station, there's that big Glico sign, right? No, I've been there a couple times. They're like, how have you been there? Because I would get really minor information from people. I would say, give me something that only someone that lived in that city could know. But I would do it for everybody. So it's like, how have you been all over Japan? You remember all these things? I was just looking it up. I forgot where I was going. But yeah, I ended up making a lot of money doing that. So I decided to leave the Just a Buck after a very short time because I wanted to use my Japanese, because that was a big burning desire in me. Another burning desire that I had, that even as a tour guide that I did, was I was writing Japanese lessons at age 20. I was writing lessons as a tour guide. I remember I time to tell time. It was called George's Convenient Japanese. I had no one to teach it to, but I was writing lessons. And some of those lessons became the basis of what I taught in Japanese from Zero. And then I would go to Kinko's, because there were still Kinko's back then, and I would print off hundreds of copies. I was so weird, but that's what I did. And if you look at what I'm doing now, all I'm doing is what I did in high school and what I did as a tour guide. I was writing Japanese lessons, I was giving tours, which was talking a lot, and I was printing off lessons. I was doing this. Oh, and I was using computers. So I used all of my skills to their max. Whew, there you go. That's why I quit Just a Buck. I've never heard of this guy before. Who are you talking about? Me? I remember that guy. Michael Dell? Isn't that a computer guy? Oh man. Hey, the first hard drive I bought. Okay, first of all, my first computer in America, it was a Pentium 75, I think. And they upgraded my memory to 8 megabytes. It was so sweet. 8 megabytes. It had Windows 3.0 for work groups. That's what I got. And I had to get this program called WinV, which was a Japanese overlay, because I didn't have the Japanese version. And all the time, the letters would be distorted. They'd be wrong because the encoding was wrong. So then you had to buy another program called Emigrant. And Emigrant would fix the bad characters on there. It was rough. I remember installing Word 6.0. I spent $300. It was so much money to buy Word 6.0. But I needed it to write lessons, right? So I bought Word 6.0. And it took 30 discs to install it. Not CD-ROMs, floppy disks. And then you'd loan it to a friend and it would come back with a virus on it. I mean, it was so dumb. I had CorelDRAW 3.0, not X3, 3.0. And I made the first company logo. I printed it. It was like a circle and it said Trombley Takenaka International. That was the first name of the company. And I would print it. I'd set it to go to print on my HP 682 printer. 682C, I believe. That thing was a rock. It was made of steel and plastic. It was really heavy. But you'd set to go print, you'd go eat dinner. Because it would take an hour for the print spooler to take that graphic and print it. And I was so happy with that jagged artwork. That jagged artwork was so awesome. I was so excited. I put it in the front part of my binder. You know, they have that little plastic clear part. It's Trombley Takenaka International. And then eventually when I opened up Japanese classes, it was Japanese classes by TTI. I was so excited. I remember we were teaching classes before my first baby, before my first daughter was born. We did, I just rented a classroom. First I was teaching in my dad's office. He loaned me his room. And then I said, I need to just rent a room here. I think I was paying $400 a month for a single room, maybe 3 times the size of this little room I'm in right now. And I had a table and 8 chairs and 1 student. That's how it started. And it was just a bell captain at Luxor. Her name was Samantha Juniman. And I dedicated, I think it's still in her name, is still, all of my first group of students are dedicated in that book because I wrote that book to teach them. And it wasn't even a book, it was just random lessons. But yeah, she came and me and my wife taught together. That's the weird thing. Having the babies changed the history of my wife's life because we taught Japanese every day together. We probably, if we didn't have kids, would be on videos together, but it just never happened because now when I was older, she wouldn't want to be on video. She doesn't feel confident. And she's never felt good about being on video. I've always been okay on video. So if you look at older videos, my wife isn't on there. It's a girl named Keiko. But, yeah, I was just writing lessons because I looked at all the books. I looked at Genki. I looked at Nakama. I looked at Japanese for Busy People. And I couldn't find a book that I liked. I didn't like any of those books. So when someone asked me, do I like Genki? I mean, yeah, I like it now, I think. Because I understand what Genki is. I know that it's a huge seller. I know Nakama's used in college. I know Genki's used in colleges. But at the time, I was like, this book is teaching way too fast. And it's not going in the way I want it to go. So I started writing lessons. And then they just got sloppy. And put them together. I mean, I tumbled into this. I didn't have a master plan going into this. Matter of fact, yesjapan.com, when I bought that domain, the first thing I put on there was Japanese menu translation, and I was going to have all the places you could rent Japanese videos. Because remember, the internet didn't have Netflix, didn't have videos, didn't have YouTube, but there was a great video rental place in Las Vegas, and I wanted to let people know where else they could rent videos and where they could find Japanese restaurants, because there was no things like that. There wasn't even Google yet. It was like Alta Vista and Yahoo, but even those were like so much in their infancy. Back then, there wasn't even coding. Like, I don't think there was barely even coding. Like, when I made my first website, I copied artbell.com's website, which is a radio, like a talking with aliens type radio show. I just copied all of their source code and I changed the words. That was how I learned how to code by looking at all the HTML tags on his page and then learning one by one what those tags were. And then I bought this book, HTML, what was it, 1.0 or 2.0 or something like that? And I bought that book and I remember looking up. It's a big, thick book. It's weird, you know. To get to success, you have to learn a lot. You have to be willing to do a lot. I did all of this on my own. I mean, I have my wife with me, but I'm all the tech guy. And my wife wasn't learning how to do new things, right? I taught her what I learned, and then she did them. Like the day that we had our baby, where her water broke, she was building course 3 vocabulary. Like she did it all. I was sleeping because I had work the next day, and then her water broke, and that was it. And that was one of the last times that she really worked very diligently, because we had babies, right? And you know, Asian mothers always work with their baby. They're always with their babies, right? So, but yeah, you know, now I have a team. Now I work with a team. I'm still doing 90% everything here. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying success is putting the hard work in. I mean, I'm 45, okay? I'm successful. I already have money. Not a big deal. But yet I want to learn Chinese. So I'm putting the effort in. And I will make Chinese. Korean books alone make more money than you guys make in a year. I guarantee. Maybe 3 times what you guys can make in a year. It makes good money, right? I don't actually know what a salary is anymore, so maybe it's double that. And I made 3 books in 2 years. And I barely spoke Korean when I started it. I just knew how language worked. And the first revision had to be pulled. I had to immediately release a new version because I found errors. When I brought the book to Korea, there was major grammar errors. I showed it to a teacher in Korean. I said, this is the book that me and a Korean person wrote, but the Korean person didn't catch those type of errors. And I didn't know enough. And the guy that was writing it with me, who was a Mormon missionary, he didn't catch those errors. And I'm not talking about typos. I'm talking like we taught grammar wrong, based on my understanding of how Korean grammar worked, based on what Japanese grammar does. So I was using Japanese grammar. Okay, I've talked for a long time. Do I still have the ceramic fish? Yes. It's on the table. I'm breaking that when we hit 100,000 subscribers. We're at 77,000. You want me to solve that math? I'll solve it for you, Green. It's 9. Isn't that 9? 6 divided by 2, and then parentheses 2 plus 1. Isn't that 9? Doesn't that become 3 times 3? Tell me if I'm right, Green. I'm not a math guy, but I do remember that there's order in math, and I think that was how you do the order. Parentheses is processed first. And when you have parentheses, it's a product. Someone just asked me, why do I have Dr. Seuss on my shelf? Where is it? Where's Dr. Seuss? I know I have it. I just don't know where. Well, I have a lot of books on my shelf. I have Doraemon. And you don't see, I have Instant Vietnamese. I have Dr. Seuss because I was writing a children's book. So I bought Where the Wild Things Are, Dr. Seuss, The Little Prince. I bought like all of the top selling and, children books, because I was writing a children book at the time when I started writing it. And I wanted to see what was good. So I bought that. So I also have Grimm Fairy Tales somewhere down here. These are all actually Korean children books. They come with CDs, which are really fantastic to listen to. You can learn a lot from a children book. But my book turned into so the age range initially was like 8-ish, and then the story got better, and I was like, oh, maybe it's for 12-year-olds, and then I realized for a 12-year-old it's too short, and then I was like, okay, visual novel. Like, I'll make it a visual novel because it's a very visual book, and I have an artist that I'm working with, Sarah Dunlap. And then I thought, well, I figured out what the next 2 books would be in that series, because I was thinking Chronicles of Narnia, you know, like they had series, and I like series. And then I thought, literally like 3 days ago, I was like, you know what? We should put those books all into one book, and it'll be like the first, and the middle part that was going to be the second book would become the middle part, and then the third book, which was going to be the big resolution, makes more sense to be in the book. So it'll be more like a 200-page book, but it'll be an actual novel. So, and age range, I still don't know yet. It all depends. I mean, the kid in it's like 15-ish or something like that. Bye. I'm sorry. Some of you guys came for the stream. I'm done with the stream. I'm just talking now, so I apologize. I do tend to go on and on and on. I have a job interview tomorrow. Any tips to succeed? It shouldn't be too formal. Okay, I'll give you one hint, and I think this is good. Don't be afraid to speak slow. You will increase the chance of your Japanese being better by speaking slow. If you're speaking in English, still speak slow and clear. I feel like that's good. That's my advice. I'm not good at job interviews because I've really only done maybe 2 of them or 3 of them. You're uploading a video for me, Doug, to help me with my singing? Actually, my singing has improved significantly. And you know what I needed to do? You know what it was? I had to build my core up. Now that I've been doing weight training and running 2 miles and stuff like that, my core is there. I'm nailing stuff, and my throat lasts. I still lose my throat, but I think that's natural because I remember when I did work with Yazawa Eikichi way back in the day. I interpreted for his musicians, and he lost his voice too. You do it. It happens. Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier. When I bought my first hard drive, I had a big debate about getting a 2.7 gig or a 3.3 gig at Sam's Club. They were like $300. And I went with the 3.3 gig against advice of everybody in the chat room on AOL, because they were like, dude, you're never going to need, why would you need 3.3 gig? Keep in mind, that's not even one side of a DVD. That's not even one DVD. 3.3 gig won't even hold a movie on a DVD. That's good, Jesse. Yeah, don't talk about how much you want to live in Japan. Talk about what you can contribute to the company. Talk about your passion, you know, how you really love what they're doing, and I really think, yeah, basically feed them what they want to hear. When does speaking fast become important? When you can. But honestly, I ended up speaking too fast. It's a common thing when you get good at Japanese, you overcompensate for them thinking that you don't speak it well. And you speak fast to prove that you speak it well. Now, I hope this guy's watching, but I met a guy in Japan who came to the Yes Japan meetup thing that we did at Shibuya. We went to Shakey's Pizza. His Japanese was phenomenal, but he spoke way too fast. I don't remember his name. The guy eventually got a really good job somewhere. He told me somewhere in one of these streams. I hope you're there. And you're one of the guys that we ate at Shakey's, and then we actually ate at another place after that, and I think you had to go. You had to go. You spoke way too fast. Like super fast. Okay? Like it was just trash. But your Japanese was good, and I could tell. So don't be afraid to speak slow. Even in English, we speak slow. We slow down and enunciate. Japanese people do it all the time, and I always think, wow, that's really slow because I speak fast. I'm too fast. And you don't want to be too fast. You want to slow it down. I had the same problem with Korean. I go fast because they speak to me in this like, it feels condescending to me. 日本語ができますか? 日本語大丈夫ですか? And you're like, you know what? 大丈夫だよ。全然問題ないですよ. Like you do that. Like that's what you do. You think you've got to go fast to prove to them that you're good. But really, 大丈夫ですよ。はい。問題ないので、日本語でお願いします. That's way better. You mumble and you try to sound like these guys that are... Don't do that. Please speak polite and clean. Is Japanese and comedy really advanced? Yes, it is. Comedy in any language is very advanced. I'm listening to a Korean comedy show. I have no idea what's funny. But I can listen to the show where they're talking about life events, or they're talking about like wives calling in with their problems and him helping them out. Got that right away in Korean. But there's the Dishie Karuta show that I listen to. I don't get it. There's laugh track and I don't get it. I don't know why it's funny. Because think about it. You've got puns and play on words. None of that is easy to understand. Anyway. All right, it's 2 a.m., guys. I've got to go. Thank you for watching. Yes, I have pretended not to speak Japanese. I do that as much as I can. I use the Japanese as a weapon sometimes. Sometimes I use English in a hotel because you get better service if they think you're a foreigner. I don't want to sometimes be on the Japanese level. I'm like I want to be that businessman traveler coming from abroad expecting high-level Japanese service. And I think sometimes it's weird for them to call me okyakusama, but they go, sir. So when I check into a hotel, I was like, yes, I have a room for 3 nights. Sometimes I speak only in English, depending on how I feel. You get better service sometimes in English. So, all right, that's it. Talk to you later. Arrivederci. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.